I'm very curious as to why the previous commission was disbanded.
Could you say that again?
Why was the previous commission disbanded?
I think that there eventually was a disconnect that was created with some of the staff we had at that time and with the commission, and really, I guess I've expressed it in the past, they just lost their way. It became difficult to figure out exactly what it was that we were supposed to be doing with them as a city, and we tried to do a few different things to keep it alive, but the emphasis was lost. And so and it's, like I say, I think some of it had to do with some of the staff at the time and just not quite knowing exactly where they should be trying to take that.
Okay, and the follow-up question is, why do you see the need to reform the commission at this time?
Kathy?
Well, for one thing, we have, as a community, not only aged but diversified, and a lot of it in a fairly rapid succession or relatively short amount of time to our entire history. And we were in the old days, when we were young, it was pretty much the 50s, 60s, basically Western European background, people moving to the suburbs, issues very native to that, and if there were other issues, we were either ignorant of them or didn't choose to look at them. I'm not sure which, I don't remember. I'm old, I'm not that old. But now we have diversified culturally, we are diversifying age-wise simply because many of us have lived here from young on. Mm-hmm. And so it's become more obvious that in order to be a functioning, welcoming community, we need to be addressing that in a more conscious fashion. For me personally, that's kind of why we're going this direction.
Okay. And how do you see this commission working with the state commission? Is there an overlap or is it separate?
Mr. Lannis?
In conjunction with, absolutely. There's a great deal of resources that the state can serve as a pool of information, but there's a certain amount of autonomy that I think this commission can serve and how it relates back to the council as an advisory. But I think in that same fashion, the state agencies and other municipalities who have similar commissions could certainly serve as places for information.
Okay. Do you have any additional questions of me?
You have a well-documented resume. And it certainly looks like you have served in a number of different capacities, all in a similar type of role and whatnot. And so I'm very impressed with your capabilities.
Oh, well, thank you.
So next Monday, we will be doing the rest of the interviews that we can't do tonight.
All right.
And then we will notify everyone as quickly as we can thereafter as to the results of the interview process. And then we hope to have the first meeting of the new commission in January.
Okay, very good.
And so, once again, thank you very much for coming
Thank you,
in.
and thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward to working with you as a member of the commission.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
So the next person will be Christine Novak. Ms. Novak, I presume.
That is correct. How are you?
Good. And Christine?
I am.
Okay. We want to thank you, Christine, for, one, applying but two, spending some time with us this early evening for this interview process. We're very excited as a council to be doing the work to try to get this commission back in place again. And so the process that we're using tonight is that we have 5 questions that we're asking of all applicants. And so each of the council members will be asking one, and Mr. Antonin is also asking one. Council member Nephew has a close relative that is an applicant, and so he decided that it would be better for him to not participate and taint the pool. And so there'll be 5 questions, but 4 people that will ultimately be deciding the new members of the commission. And so if when we get to the end, we'll have a few extra minutes. If you have some questions of us, or we might have some follow-up questions or that type of thing, we'll do that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. So Mr. Antonin is the first question.
Thank you. Please explain any background and or experience that you may have had in any of the following areas: public housing, civil rights, veterans issues, education, employment, or social work.
Are those all the topics?
We could probably dream up some more if you'd like us to.
No, I think that's quite good. Thank you. I think that I have a few topics there to cover. Employment. I've been a manager with my organization for 15 years. Throughout that time, I've been with my organization for 19, so 15 of those I have been a manager, and through that time period I've had the honor to deal with a couple of different employment issues over the years. And although my experience is not directly related to the public housing, due to my current status as a commercial lender, I have the fortunate capability of working with various property management companies and individuals that allow me the insight from that perspective on the Section 8 housing topics. It's kind of just a broad overview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to need my mic. I'm going to use. Okay, so my question, and I'll try and speak loudly for the mic, is somewhat related to Mr. Antonin's first question, is what training or life experience, maybe give an example, do you have that would be beneficial if you are appointed to serve on the Human Rights Commission?
So as a manager within my organization, it's extremely important that we are methodical in the way we treat our employees, which I completely agree with, and I think that we continue to uphold a certain expectation of our managers, and it's one that I have come to honor through my personal life as well. So my specific training comes from my organization. I guess in addition to that, because I am a lender, all the regulations that we deal with on that side of things as well.
What do you think would be the major challenges in establishing the Human Rights Commission in Maplewood?
Well, I think when you ask that, that probably leads into one of the questions that I will ask you guys at the end is, when it was dissolved, what was the reasoning that it was dissolved back then, and why are we here today reissuing it? There have to be some concerns within our community that are coming directly to you as a city council. Maybe you're inundated or overwhelmed with various topics, and what exactly are those topics? I think as a commission we need to come and understand the human rights statutes that will govern us so that we can address those issues within our community that are left unresolved at this point. Another idea that I've had is, right now, who is the city residents such as myself reaching out to when they have a situation? Do they contact the council directly? Do they call the city? Where is the city directing these concerns at this point?
Thank you.
Thanks.
As a commissioner, you could be involved in facilitating issues that may arise between individuals and or businesses in the community regarding housing, employment, public accommodations, and or services. What experience and skills qualify you to perform this task?
I think that's why I'm here today. I'm very comfortable dealing with the different kinds of business owners that we have within our community. I really enjoy my day-to-day job. I love managing people. I like resolving conflict in the event that it does come up. I think that when you are dealing with conflict, you have to take a look at the rules that govern us and kind of have a few different types of outcomes that you can consider, and then from there you deduct your variables. Kind of methodical and boring. Is that the banker in me? But it has to be a well thought out approach.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Obviously, this will also deal with your experience, but I'm asking you to broaden it out a little and throw in a little creativity for good
Sure.
measure. Based on your life experience and your understanding of the mission of this commission, if you had the opportunity to set one goal or major program for the Human Rights Commission, what would it be?
Well, I think that we need to make ourselves known. I believe that we need to have a voice within the community and ensure that we're approachable as a commission, to know what the concerns are of our residents and know that they can come to us with these, so that the option of resolution or working towards a brighter tomorrow is a possibility. As far as the specific concerns, I think once we have identified what the key role of the commission is, to kind of, the second part of that would be to identify what the key issues are within our community and start taking those one-on-one.
Thank you.
That is the end of our 5 formal questions. And so, Council, any kind of follow-ups that come to mind right offhand? What kind of questions would you like to ask us?
You know, I've read through the material that you've offered us, and I guess I am kind of curious as to what are some of the pressing concerns that this commission will be appointed.
I suddenly can't hear even in the room, so repeat the last part of your question.
Just some various concerns that the commission will be working on.
The type of things to be working on?
Yep.
Well, so I think it's varied. Obviously, they all have to do with one way or the other with human rights. And so that can range anywhere from some housing issues, if people feel that they're in one way or the other being taken advantage of. Could also extend to dealing with neighbors. Could be that they feel that they're being discriminated against at a local establishment due to any of the normal, sex, gender, race, religion, any way that someone would be denied their rights. And so it's a broad field, actually,
Yeah.
and can be come into play in a number of different areas. And so, certainly the state has a human relations group that is kind of the head that people can go to, but we're just trying to provide a more local access that they can come to and maybe feel more comfortable, and try to see if we can find some resolutions at a more local level. Who wants to add to that? Kathy does.
There's a shock. No, in my estimation, and based on our discussions, we want to see this commission also as a resource for how to deal with each other and understand each other, never mind about filing human rights violations and that type of thing. It is not our goal to make this a legal type issue where you decide up or down or the fate of anyone. It's more, what kind of a community is this? Are we involving and appreciating everybody, and are we, in a way, trying to make ourselves more welcoming? Because, and this might answer your other question about the history, it kind of just devolved instead of evolved. And we as a community in the last few years have changed measurably from the 1960s and 70s suburb we originally were.